Anand Rathi Wealth had a tagline which I really like. Private wealth, uncomplicated. Honestly, in last few weeks, where Nifty is falling, FIs are selling, war is everywhere, where every WhatsApp group has become a community giving investor advices. This is the uncomplicated advice we definitely need. I, Ankit Jain, co-founded Mercurius, and today I joined by someone who have lived this philosophy of uncomplicated, Mr. Manish Srivastava, Executive Director at Anand Rathi Wealth. He has a total journey of 30 years working in various financial services in India and abroad. Manish, really glad to have you here. Let's start simple and try to have this uncomplicated journey of yours to explain to our viewers what they should do now.
Thank you so much, Ankit. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And yes, the tagline uncomplicated. See, finance is a very complicated word. And we wanted, when I left my banking and when I joined Anand Rathi 18 years back, uh, at that time, my MD, Amit Rathi, said that, finance is a very complicated word and we have to ensure that when we go and speak to our clients, they feel it uncomplicated. And the word came uncomplicated from there, uh, specifically saying that if you want to speak about finance to your mother, she should be able to understand. So we wanted to create a business.
Wow, what a
The
definition.
tagline was uncomplicated. Now, looking at today's scenario, this scenario is nothing new for us. When you are into equity markets, volatility is a part and characteristic of equity market. And we've always seen ups and downs. We've seen 8, 9 wars. So this is nothing new for us.
Okay.
Wars come, wars go. If the fundamental of your country is strong, then you don't have to worry about it. So our point of view to most of our clients is, we've seen 8, 9 wars. The maximum drawdown means the negative that the market has gone on to, is in the range of about 7 to 8%.
Which is not bad.
Which is not bad. But this time, the drawdown has been more. It's about 11, 12%, but that's also not bad. So not to worry about it, because market generally tends to bounce back when the war finishes, and we've seen a lot of instances that has happened. So specifically, I tell people volatility ke andar unko they have to look into for opportunity for it.
And you see a lot of opportunity there?
Well, I'm an equity guy, and I'm all in for equity.
Okay.
At this age also, I'm 52 now. And at this age also, I always tell people that you cannot shy away for investing into an equity if you want to make money for yourself.
Okay.
And today, every day is a good day to invest into equity if you have the time frame with you. So normally when my clients ask me a simple question, is it a good day to invest? My counter question to that would be, when would you need money? If you need that money for less than 5 years, then equities may not be the right kind of a platform for you. But anything above 5 years time frame, an IRR of 14-15% is not, which is not a very difficult IRR to achieve, and we've been doing that with our clients.
So you explained this complicated situation very uncomplicated way. Thanks, Manish. Firstly, I would like to come back to some personal things. You started somewhere in 1995, worked with 4 different banks, Citi, Deutsche, HSBC, now 18 years in Anand Rathi. What did Manish do out of his first salary?
My first salary, I think back then, the only thing that I wanted was that I wanted to be mobile, because I joined in Citi.
Acha.
And I joined in as a, those days, Citi used to call acquisition managers. People used to acquire relationship for Citibank. And then I had to go from house to house, from office to office to acquire clients, because the bank was growing that time. And the only thing that I was missing was a scooter to myself. So I thought the first salary that I'll get, I have to buy a scooter for myself.
Oh, that's so nice. So you invested in your business, it looks like.
I invested in my business, so I get mobile. I don't have to get through autos or buses that particular time. So my first salary went into buy I still remember LML Vespa scooter.
Oh, that I drove that as well. What wonderful ride. It was the only one which used to come with a single bench. Bajaj used to come with the double bench.
Exactly. So that was the first salary had gone on.
Okay, nice. But if I want to ask another question, एक line में explain करो, for Manish 22 years versus Manish 52 years, what is riches?
So at 22, you don't have the sense of money, right? My salary for a year was about 1,22,000 rupees for a year. And my boss used to get 5 lakh rupees per annum.
Oh, wow.
So I used to pray to the Lord saying that किसी ज़माने में मेरे 5 लाख की salary हो जाएगी ना. So I'll be the richest person in this world at that age. So that was my dream, to achieve that 5 lakh rupees. But, as you grow, as you say, as you grow older, you get a little sensible. I don't know whether I am still sensible or not. But for me, I think it is very important. Uh, I always tell people that, you have to create your passive incomes in your investments. And you attain a financial nirvana when your your passive income is more than your active income.
So have Manish reached to Nirvana?
To a larger extent, yes. Yeah, but there's still a long way to go.
Oh, don't worry. We'll not ask you any numbers. You worked in different cultures from HSBC, Deutsche, now Anand Rathi. What is the one thing you've learned which makes you start your day?
See, I'll tell you, 3 different organizations, 3 different cultures.
Correct.
Citibank, a cutthroat American organization. There I learned sales tricks. कि sales कैसे करते हैं.
Okay.
You don't have to be, से कहते हैं ना, कभी शर्माना नहीं है sales के अंदर. That city taught me sales.
Okay.
HSBC is a British bank. They taught me how to dress up.
Okay.
So they taught me how to talk, how to eat.
Acha.
And how even I got, I was sent to Goa from HSBC to do a culinary course to figure it out which fork to pick up, which glass of wine to pick up, and whatnot when you meet a client.
Wow. I even don't know even today. I will come someday for you.
So that's British bank. Britishers, they are tight knotted.
Right.
Americans can wear shorts and go for dinner, but Britishers will not.
No, they will not.
Americans told me how to do sales. Britishers told me that you have the sales culture, but if you get that suave of dressing up and talking to a client also, it will be good. Anand Rathi, when I came to, then I went to Deutsche. Deutsche was my very small stint. Yeah, and I've also learned a lot in Deutsche. But Anand Rathi, when I came into, I understood the value of family culture. How an organization carves out, works with you like a family.
Wow.
Yeah. Specifically, I'm not saying HSBC, Deutsche and Citi. Anand Rathi has somebody one can speak with. Our business, I learned how we can take everybody together. Today, I've learned every day in the morning when we get up, as you asked me a simple question, my only thing is that when I pray that the entire family of Anand Rathi will do well, plus our clients should also do well. That's the mantra that we work on, and everybody and anybody that work with Anand Rathi, we work with a family culture. We inculcate. I think Anand Rathi is the only wealth management platform that encourages your families to work with you.
Acha, that's nice, which is very different
from Deutsche and
or
HSBC.
British or any American
because
bank.
In HSBC, the moment we used to get married, one has to leave the bank.
Correct.
Yeah. Here we are encouraging that if you're calling it as your family, if it is good for you, it will be good for your wife also, and it will still be good for your children also. And my daughter who just graduated, I think the beneficiary of that would be that she is joining me from the first of May, and that's how the family culture gets inculcated. So it's like it's like an entrepreneur journey. So it's your business. You're running your business, Ankit.
Correct.
Yeah. Eventually, if your children does the same thing, probably they'll also come and run it as a business. It's like an entrepreneur journey. I'm doing a business working with Anand Rathi, and then the Anand Rathi cultures also say that you can get your children along if they have that kind of bandwidth.
Well, I think that's a great culture, and actually family create bonds. And even if you look at the history, the most successful businesses lasted for more than 100 years have been with family values and family culture.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, most of the businesses drop in 50, 60, 70 years in the large ones.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
So tell me one money decision you have done in early stage of your career which you really regret.
Which I really regret.
कि ये गलत कर दिया, या maybe now you make a laugh out of it.
So yes, I've done enough and more mistakes in my life.
Okay.
One biggest mistake that I did was in about 2008 when I was not 2008. This was the year 2005 when I was working with Deutsche Bank.
Okay.
I got a call from a broking outfit, and they said that the markets are doing pretty well, and you should invest into derivative markets.
Oh.
and I didn't have money that particular point in time. So my cousin lent me about 10 lakh rupees.
Okay.
Within a week, the 10 became 30.
Oh,
In the
wow.
derivative,
3
I was
times.
very thrilled.
Huh.
The 10 became 30. And then the fiasco happened.
Okay.
And I not only lost the 10 lakh, I had to pay another 10 lakh rupees as a margin to them. So that was the biggest mistake that is the, somebody was telling me laughingly that with that kind of money, you had gone to the US and did a course on derivatives, the kind of money that you've lost now. So that's the biggest mistake. So I'm really,
But ठीक है, you learn from your own mistakes. उसके बाद कभी derivative किया?
I think उसके बाद से आज तक कभी भी नहीं किया है. And SEBI also doesn't want you to do
हाँ, ठीक है, SEBI.
derivatives. वो भी
Correct.
derivatives को बहुत ज़्यादा.
Anyway, I think that's a different market, and I've not seen people making money. Apart from one client, I still have who makes money out of FNO.
Well, SEBI says 9 out of 10 people don't make money in derivatives.
Correct. But when you started your career, you always wanted to do this, or you had a different plan?
I had a very different plan altogether.
Uh-huh.
I had sciences with
Okay.
me in class 12th. I wanted to be a doctor. Always wanted to be a doctor, but life had its own different path. Couldn't get admissions to do medicine. The only thing that I knew was English. I did my honors in English.
English honors in financial market.
Yes.
That's a deadly combination. I've never seen that.
And then once I finished my honors in English, I got a call from HSBC that they were looking for City.
City,
initially.
हाँ.
City, that they were looking for people who can speak in English.
अच्छा,
And
back then.
that's the only thing that I knew. I just went there, I borrowed my dad's scooter, went to Citibank in Jain Bharti building,
CP.
did my interview there, and they said, you can come and join us from tomorrow. And that's how my financial journey started.
Wow.
And then I learned,
And you remained there.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long time
Wow.
now.
Now coming back to market, बहुत fiasco है. March 2026, there has been so much of crash. 10-12% I think market गिर गई है. And I'm sure your phone must be ringing non-stop from your clients. So what is the one line Manish would say to them?
See, if you see, my phone has not rung since I have been with you for almost 2 hours now. We've conditioned our client in such a fashion that technically now we're at a stage where clients don't call up with anxiety. Obviously, a new client will. Yeah. The one liner that you asked me, I always tell clients, don't worry, this will also pass. This too shall pass.
Okay. This too shall pass.
Yes.
That's nice.
COVID is behind us now. We were negative by about 34% in COVID.
Correct.
If you would have withdrawn your money in COVID, you would have had a loss.
Correct.
You would have never come back into the equity markets. But if you would have stayed back in COVID, your IRRs were phenomenal. Cut that, the first 1 year IRR became 74%, जो आप सोच भी नहीं सकते equity markets के अंदर. So this too shall pass. When we've studied enough and more wars, and we realize when the war finishes, the ceasefire happened actual. The Nifty will take about 1.1 months to come back to its highs back again. That's what it is.
Wow. एक कॉमन सवाल, लोग मार्केट से बहुत साल काम करते हैं, they're not able to make money. Any reason you want to talk about this?
Patience नहीं है हमारे पास.
Okay.
सबसे बढ़िया, the biggest thing to make money is patience. And I always tell people कि हमारे पास patience होना चाहिए. I'll just give you one single data point. एक fund है. The fund's name is HDFC Flexi Cap Fund. Correct? If you would have invested 1 crore at the start of HDFC Flexi Cap Fund and you would have forgotten about that fund. Correct? आपके मायने से आज उसकी वैल्यू कितनी होनी चाहिए? Any idea?
Maybe 10x, 15x.
तो 1 crore कितना हो गया होगा?
20
I think it started in the year 1990 में हमारा सनसेट शुरू हुआ था. 1993 पे HDFC इक्विटी फंड के नाम से जाना जाता था.
तो 30 years maybe what? 30 times?
और सोच सकते हैं आप?
What? 100?
और सोच सकते हैं आप?
200?
So it's about 500 to 600 odd crores.
1 crore
somebody, so चलो 1 crore नहीं भी इन्वेस्ट करा.
10,000.
So that means patience pays. But हमारे पास पेशेंस नहीं है. क्योंकि क्या होता है, ह्यूमन मेंटालिटी. आदमी अब आज मुझे पैसे की जरूरत है और मार्केट गिरी हुई है, तो मैं पैसा निकाल ही लूंगा ना. और मार्केट गिर रही है तो आई गेट वेरी reckless. That I don't know what will happen tomorrow because I need that money now. So I don't have patience. So the biggest mistake that people do is they lose their patience. Even if they don't need money, they will take
Correct.
the money out. वो कहते हैं ना भागते भूत की लंगोटी ही सही.
हाँ.
So they take the money out कि ये बच जाए, फिर आएंगे. फिर क्या होता है, once you make a नुकसान, तो उसके बाद आने की हिम्मत नहीं होती.
Correct. Correct.
So for our business, patience is the key. If you have the patience, you will make money.
So you actually answered my next question, where I was thinking to ask you about somebody, because a lot of Gen Z has entered into the market last 2-3 years. They've seen that upside, and now they see 15% down. So what they should do? So patience.
See, always I tell, my daughter is also 22, 23 now, and I've started doing some investments for her. When they see negative, anybody, when they see negative in their portfolio, they don't have that patience too. And today's the generation is a very fast moving generation.
Correct.
उनको iPhone 17 Pro Max ही चाहिए. Salary बेशक 50,000 है, but they want, they're
वो है. Correct.
वो patience नहीं है हमारे अंदर. वो patience बहुत जरूरी है. अगर वो patience आ जाए हमारे पास, तो ये 15-18 महीने क्या है? There's nothing, na? I've been in this business for almost 30 years now, right? Yeah. So what is this 15 years? What is this 15 months? There's
15
nothing.
months. Correct.
And if they have patience and there's a stick on to when the market, when the war finishes, it will take, average it takes about 1.1 month, maximum it can 2 to 3 months, it will come back. And then they will make the returns. And also, जब भी panic होता है ना, तो सबसे ज़्यादा, you need a lot of patience when there's panic. And then you need, it has to, this is the best time. What I tell people today, it wasn't the best time ever. Always a good time to invest monies if you have time frame. But this is far much the best time. You are getting, today if you have a sale in a market, there's a queue outside, right? आज ज़ारा में सेल लगती है, लोग लाइन लगा के खड़े हो जाते हैं वहाँ.
करेक्ट.
आज इक्विटी मार्केट में सेल लगती है, कोई लाइन लगा के खड़ते नहीं, क्योंकि
लोग
डर
exit
लगता
करते
है,
हैं.
लोग एग्जिट करना शुरू करते हैं. हम उल्टा, our behavior is quite opposite.
For the financial market, when it is cheap, you should buy more.
Exactly.
You're right. So I read, I saw one of your interviews say SIP should always continue, so it should never be stopped.
Correct.
But is there any situation you think somebody should actually think to stop their SIP? Any situation you think?
I love SIPs. That's the best way to get the power of compounding into your account. वो बोलते हैं ना, Einstein बोलता है, the eighth wonder of the world is power of compounding.
Correct.
Somebody who has done it will only figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah. 1 crore पे 10%, 10 lakh, 100 crore पे 10%.
That's cool.
So that's the power of compounding. And then SIPs, कब stop करनी चाहिए SIPs? I always tell people, see, I have certain goals in my mind. I've taken a goal that I want to get my children's education done. Yeah. So then one can stop SIPs.
So when your goals are achieved.
When goals are achieved. For example, some of the funds are not doing well. Then you should stop the SIP, but do a rebalancing of SIP and put it into some other fund.
वो switch कर लिया.
Otherwise, I find it very difficult that people would. In fact, I tell people that आपके पैसे बढ़ रहे हैं, आपको step up करना चाहिए, ना कि step down करना चाहिए. You should start increasing your SIPs. And look at the power of compounding. When you have these SIPs for 10, 15, 20 years, the IRRs will be phenomenal. You will not be able to understand. अब हमारे patience नहीं है.
Patience. That's it's a time game.
Absolutely.
So what you will recommend to retail investors now? Buy, hold, or sell?
Okay. Somebody who has money, should buy it right away. Should put about, normally we tell people should put about 30-40% money now, and the rest 60% money for a longer term duration, but 4 to 6 weeks, then they should put that money back in.
Achha.
If you are doing SIPs, continue SIPs. If you have no money on, and if you don't need the money, just sit tight.
Okay.
Let this tide get over. And when the tide will get over, you will be always be happy. You will be on the happier side.
So you have answered one more question. So you're covering with one answer 2 of my questions. मेरे questions कम पड़ेंगे. अच्छा, इंडिया में traditionally FD and gold पे लोग ज़्यादा trust करते हैं.
I have a
But do you think that is shifting towards equity, or is it still the old mindset? Because अगर आप देखो gold ने return अच्छा दिया है in last few years and has covered the entire journey of next 10-15 years.
एक ना बहुत अच्छा shift हो रहा है अंकित. हाँ. That's a number that I wanted to check that number of. Bank deposit earlier 50% होते थे.
वो बहुत गिर गए हैं.
Yeah. They have moved from 50% to about 35%.
15%.
So there's a gradual shift which is coming towards the financial markets. People are getting much more savvier, investing. Even gold, for that matter, gold has always been emotional buy. Yeah? आज अगर आप देखोगे हमारे फैमिलीज के अंदर, आपकी फैमिली के अंदर, स्पेशली जैन फैमिलीज, ट्रेडिशनली पीपल यूज्ड टू से कि गोल्ड जो है वो हमेशा आपका एक इमोशनल बाई होता है.
करेक्ट.
आप अगर आप गोल्ड के अंदर से इमोशंस हटा दें, if you take the emotions all away, I think gold can be also a part of your portfolio, not more than 10-15%. Because that will give you a far much better return than an actual debt would be. Yeah? So there's a shift happening, which is a good shift. 50% say our banks savings can you have come to 35%. So they're regular. So the Gen Z, which is coming into picture, they are technically getting into the financial assets. I know. I got a call from one of my cousin. I come from Bihar.
Acha.
Yeah.
I thought you were always from Delhi.
No. I was born and brought up in Delhi, but my father comes from Bihar. My parents come from Bihar, and I still have some of my family which is left in Bihar. So there's a cousin of mine who works as an accountant with one of the account company in Patna. He called me once, and he got to know that I work with a financial outfit. So he called me and asked me, "Bhaiya, I wanted to start a 10,000 rupees ka SIP. If you can give me some 4 or 5 names." So there I feel that is, when this entire thing moves to a B-town cities, then actual financial freedom is happening. I was very happy to figure out.
You say it's a permanent shift.
Yeah, it is not a permanent shift because a lot of work needs to be done still there. Abhi kya hai? It is concentrated towards all bigger cities. But छोटे-छोटे शहरों के अंदर भी जाना शुरू हो गया. If my cousin is calling me up out of nowhere and asking me कि आप मुझे बताओ कि मुझे ये 10,000 रुपए मेरे को करने हैं, that means there is something. So I told him. I was very happy.
Correct.
B, I feel that it is extremely important that everybody should get a financial freedom. Very, very important. And if it is not difficult to get financial freedom, but you have to be a little systematic and practical and pragmatic in your approach. If you do that, the financial freedom is not very far.
Okay.
And I am telling you by my experience.
So one more experience I want to know from you. I know you deal with a lot of HNIs. So what one mistake an HNI investor do, which will surprise to most of the small time or retail investors?
Decisions made through recency biased.
And what is that?
What that means is, I'll just try to make you uncomplicated.
Please.
अभी आप देखिए, last 1 year में क्या हुआ? What did well in last 1 year?
Gold, silver,
and
silver.
Correct.
So silver did actually phenomenally well.
Exactly. So despite the fact that you created your portfolio, and we as an advisor, we always tell people saying that if you want to have gold and silver, it cannot be more than 5-10% of your portfolio.
Correct.
But the retail investor या HNI investor जो इंडिया में है, जब वो देखता है किसी भी एक चीज का, एवरी एसेट क्लास का कभी कभी एक साइकिल आता है. गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर की जो ग्रोथ आई, इट वाज नॉट सडनली कि आपको डिमांड बढ़ गया उसके अंदर. There were people sitting somewhere were doing derivatives on gold and silver, and it went up quite high. So when you move out of your asset allocation to get to do something very different is not the right kind of thing to be done. I always tell my clients, if you have 100 rupees, your 90 rupees should be earning about 15-16%. If you want to gamble with your money, you can do about 10%. But most of the HNI, when they see, हम आपसे बात करते हैं, हम इसको हमेशा बोलते हैं हमने पैसे किसमें बनाए. हम आपको कभी भी नहीं बोलेंगे हमने पैसे कहाँ कमाए.
Correct.
That's always where you will never ask. People will not tell you where they've lost money. People will always tell you मैंने 1 रुपया डालता 500 रुपये हो. Right?
सक्सेस की बात करते हैं, फेलियर्स की बात नहीं
ये एक लॉजिकल माइंडसेट है और हमें क्या लगता है कि हमें भी उसी में जाना चाहिए. So they tend to, we try to see, this is your money, this is not my money. I as an advisor can only give you a data point to tell you this is the data, and the data says that you should not be investing much more than this in the specific asset. If you do not stick to your asset allocation, then that's the biggest mistake you do. And then फिर क्या होता है, अब suddenly देखिए 4.5 लाख रुपए सिल्वर था,
अब कुछ आज 2.5
लाख के आसपास आ गए. So किसको नुकसान हुआ? रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को नुकसान हुआ बेचारा. In the fag end में when everybody has made money,
do you think HNI investors also
they do get tempted?
They get tempted. So tempted buys is always one thing we should do.
So that's a recency biased. Recently जो बड़ा आपके दिमाग में वही रह जाता है. This is called recency bias. So we
Recency
make
bias.
opinion through recency bias rather than behavioral factor कि ये क्या कर रहा है. So when you start thinking about recency biases and you create opinions and you make decision through recency bias is not right. You know?
Got it.
So that's
got it.
what
I think that is a new term I have learned today.
the recent.
Recency bias. So if somebody has 10 lakhs today,
Yes.
you said 30% invest now, and then 6 weeks, 10%, right?
So I also
Because I think a lot of people would like to know this.
if I have for me if it is 10 lakhs we have to first we have to understand कि ये 10 लाख रुपए जो मेरे हैं मुझे कब चाहिए.
And we say long term.
If it is long term, then my ideal setup would be it should if it is long term means for me long term means 5-10 years.
हाँ 5 साल.
So then it should 100% go into equity, mutual funds,
Okay.
50 to 55% into large cap.
And should I put it today or should I stagger it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. 50 to 55% into
Large
large cap, 20 to 25% into mid
Mid
cap,
cap.
and rest into small caps. Because mid and small would give you that kind of an alpha that comes into picture, and large cap will give you that kind of a stability.
Huh.
You should put about 30-35% now,
Okay.
and the rest in about 6 to 8 weeks time frame. You just stagger your entry
So
and put
30-85% and 8 weeks, 5-7% हर हफ्ते डालते जाओ.
बिल्कुल.
The market goes down, then even you'll get a benefit. और बढ़ गई तो भी benefit है.
गिरेंगे तो रुपी कॉस्ट एवरेजिंग के हिसाब से आपको ज्यादा यूनिट्स मिल जाएंगे. बढ़ेगा तो आपका पैसा बढ़ी रहेगा.
पैसे बढ़ी रहेगी आपने पैसे में तो डाल ही चुके हो.
Exactly.
Okay, that's. So let me do some fun with you. A rapid fire. Sim or lump sum?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
And why?
सिर्फ फॉर कांस्टेंट रुपी के आई थिंक जब मेरे पास कभी लमसम ऐसा आता है और अगर मार्केट की जैसे आज क्या है टुडे सिप इज गुड इट्स डूइंग रुपी कॉस्ट एवरेजिंग बट टुडे आई हैव अ लमसम 10 लाख रुपीस
Then I should.
तो मैं बोलूंगा कि इसको फटाफट से आप उसको सिप की वेट मत करिए फिर आपको वो 2 साल थोड़ी वेट करना है उसके अंदर देन यू स्टैगर्ड विद इन 6 to 8 weeks
Got it.
that's what I say.
मैं rapid fire से large cap or small cap for next 5 years?
Asset allocation back again, no large cap, no small cap, 55% large cap, 25-30%
Okay.
mid caps, and rest
So
small
you're
caps.
very balanced. For a 30-year-old guy living in Delhi, what real estate mutual fund?
A 30-year-old guy staying in Delhi, I would say mutual funds.
Mutual funds, gold, asset or emotion?
Gold, technically it's emotional. It should be asset, cannot be more than 5 to 10% of your portfolio.
Crypto in a portfolio, yes or no?
Absolutely no.
Who makes a better investor, disciplined guy or intelligent guy?
Disciplined guy.
Okay, one book every investor should read.
Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. My favorite book.
Okay, I should read it too. मैंने नहीं पढ़ा. Term
आपको भिजवा
insurance.
दूंगा.
Term insurance. When one should buy?
The day you have a liability on you, you should have a term insurance. Very important.
Okay. Biggest red flag for a wealth advisor, or when I find a wealth advisor, what should I look at? What's the biggest red flag?
If they're doing product selling rather than object strategy selling. If I'm just doing a product selling, that's the biggest red flag. I should not.
Retire at 40, dream or trap?
It's not a trap. It's a dream if it is done scientifically and disciplined fashion. You can.
How often should someone check their portfolio?
I tell them not every 6 months to about a year.
Every 6 months. Does social media makes investing more dangerous or more easier?
See, it's quite dangerous though, because काफी टाइम पे काफी लोग काफी कुछ बोल जाते हैं जो बहुत पार्ट्स में आता है.
हाँ.
And for a naive investor, it's very difficult to grasp on. Yeah.
Okay.
And I find that's the reason SEBI is also, coming up on financial influencer. They have to be certified enough to talk about it. They cannot just go on.
Correct. I think China may be again now. Anyone who's an influencer, they have to be certified into that. And I think something like that should come here for every field.
Yeah, because my daughter comes back and tells me, "Papa, इसमें invest करते हैं." Somebody is talking about it. What is that? So I always tell them कि data बताओ क्या है इसका. Once you have the data.
Okay. Obsession with quick money. Is it a phase or you think it's a permanent shift?
Obsession with quick money, I think when we are young, it's always there. Yeah. But वो होता या नहीं होता, it's very difficult for us to make. But it is always, see, when you're young, you always will have an obsession to make quick money. It will not happen.
So it's not linked to Gen Z, it's linked for every generation.
Every generation would want to make a quick buck. Yeah. Especially for a youngster, when they're, when they are growing up, they will also want to have a quick buck. वो पर हमारे क्या एक 25 साल के लड़के को आप पेशेंस सिखाएंगे तो वो नहीं हो सकता है.
लड़की को भी अब टाइम हैज चेंज्ड.
डॉटर को भी. लड़का मतलब आई मीन इन जेनरिक. आई एम नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग टू डू विद एनी काइंड ऑफ
no, just
a boy or a girl, whosoever, whatever it is. So they don't understand the value of money. They want to have a quick buck because they have not seen it.
Correct.
But technically, it doesn't happen. You need to have a lot of patience.
What the one most overrated financial advice on Instagram these days?
One most overrated. I think I don't know any overrated as such, but if I have to think through, what would that be?
Underrated. Okay. If you want to skip, I have another. What's underrated? Most underrated financial advice on Insta? Or you are not on Insta?
I am on Insta, but I normally don't see. Mostly I don't follow any of the. I'm a very silent spectator on. I have no idea what kind of fun.
So let's skip this. Now, next segment is message to Gen Z, the today's generation. So I see today's 25-year-old kid or child or young generation, they earn more, much more than what you and I used to earn. They spend more, and they're more anxious about money than any generation before.
Correct.
So what advice you would like to give to them?
See, I'll tell you, there's a very different shift to the younger generation. One thing which is very good about them is they have started understanding money.
Okay.
Yeah. While they are spendthrift, they like to spend a lot. They'll go
कमा भी तो रहे हैं ना आपने हमने
exactly. अभी क्या वैल्यू ऑफ मनी जो है जो हमारे टाइम पे होती थी अब जो है वो बहुत फर्क पड़ गया इसके अंदर. The good part is that I can only talk about my daughter and her friends. When they come and ask me, they understand the markets. They read through it sometimes.
Oh, very good.
And they're well informed about it. Like my son is 17 now. The other day I was discussing it. He understood the state of Hormuz and all, and how the oil not coming into India. So they are well informed. One thing which is good is they are well informed. The only thing which is lacking with them is, as you asked me earlier, was that they want to make quick bucks. Yeah, that is not happening. Yeah, और वो लोग जरूरत से ज्यादा खर्चा करते हैं. Our generation would have never. You are also younger than me, though. 5-7 years, एक जनरेशन चेंज हो रहा है उसके अंदर अंकित. हम लोग सेव करते थे फिर खर्चा करते थे. ये लोग खर्चा करते हैं उसके बाद अगर बच जाए तो शायद सेव करते हैं. राइट. सो अभी जैसे मैं पहले भी बोल रहा था, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद माय आईफोन. माय डॉटर कीप्स टेलिंग मी दिस डजंट सूट यू. You should buy a 17 Pro Max. Well, she already had one. I said, I don't need it because my communication is good enough. Correct. My work is happening. I don't want to. So this generation, I don't know whether they want to show to people that they have arrived in life and they want to arrive much earlier than what we were, but they want to spend and then they don't want to. They, क्या word use करते हैं? YOLO.
Live, YOLO. You live only once.
Only once.
You live only once.
So obviously
you only live once. Whatever.
So I keep there's some Gen Z language I keep speaking with my children about, and I keep learning it through my mobiles and all. ठीक है, we all live in every you love once only.
I think it all came after COVID actually. lot of our generation people are following this. I know. YOLO यार
करना चाहिए. I'm not saying don't live a life like a pauper.
Correct.
If you're earning. But saving is something, if you start saving money from a start, it will always stay on with you for a longer period of time.
Correct. So one thing which they are doing right is getting informed. What thing they are doing wrong and spending too much.
Yes.
And one financial habit you would advise them to start very early?
Always start saving as early as possible. That's something which I've always been telling people. Any amount. I've been telling people that even if they want to start with 5,000 rupees, please start with 5,000 rupees. Because as you start seeing, how the 5,000 behaves over a period of time, you yourself will realize when you see the portfolio, maybe last 2 years people would have come and invested into would have seen negative. Yeah. But if you've been there for last 10 years, then also you stand tall.
I agree. So I agree. I've seen some people in our office who have started early. They never realize कि सब मैंने 5 लाख सेव कर लिए अगले 3-4 सालों में. They say I could have never saved in my life. So start
exactly.
early helps. Start. This crash. So if you look at every crash in history has a name. 2008 was Lehman. then COVID came, then what you will call this crash, March 2006, right? 2026.
Maybe we would say first tariff fiasco. Initially, it was tariff fiasco that came into
Correct.
picture. Now it can be what Iran, Israel, US war. You know, like we
War.
have all the wars. We have
Correct.
Syria war, Libya
Correct.
war, Indo-Pak war. So that's the name, probably in the nomenclature we will give to this war as well.
Okay. So last one, complete this line for me. In April 2026, the smartest thing an investor can do is what?
The smartest thing an investor in April 2026 can do is, if he has money, he should invest right away. And he'll bless me for the next 10 years.
Okay. Oh, that's a great advice. Thank you, Manish. Thank you for your time. Thank you coming all the way.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Ankit, I quite enjoyed talking.